Juwan Johnson.
Juwan Johnson.
Like one memorable play that he's made that you guys are like, whoa, we didn't see that coming. Is there one of those?
You talking about like doing practice?
Scrimmage, camp, whatever.
I say when he caught the ball with one hand, probably.
Yeah.
There was a play when he caught the ball with one hand, and that was just like a wow moment. And I know Juwan can do those things, but it, surprised me.
When guys in the secondary and coverage say they're working on their coverage from the standpoint of getting more turnovers, interceptions, what do you actually work on in practice? What are the techniques and the sort of skills that you try and get better at? Just reading the quarterback's eyes. I mean, what do you do to get better at that?
Just play recognition. Just knowing what's coming to you, before it even comes to you. Footwork, and just watching more film. Like I said, play recognition is one of the biggest things.
And what's the relationship between the defensive line and the coverage when it comes to, the more pressure they get? Maybe you got guys throwing up balls that maybe they wouldn't have if they had more time. I mean, how do you guys feed off of each other?
I mean, if there's no pressure, on the quarterback, then, the corner can't cover like more than, 7 seconds or 6 seconds. So, I mean, it goes, a long way with saying, the D-line is, big, for, the secondary, get turnovers. If they pressure on the quarterback, the quarterback, is scared and may want to, throw the ball, this way and that way and end up messing up. So the D-line, is a big factor, in the secondary getting turnovers.
You guys talked to John Reed much? I don't know if he's back from his internship.
Oh, yeah, he's back,
What is it like to have a guy that smart? Obviously, he was helpful when he was on the field to begin with, but, when he's got nothing but time on his hands now to watch over that film and everything.
He's like a coach, and he can see from the outside. And John Reed is really smart and have knowledge of the game. So with him seeing from the outside, he can let us know a couple tips of what we need to do and how to watch film and like what to look for those things.
Has he given you any specific advice about stuff to kind of improve on, or have you asked him?
Really, no, not yet. But like when game time come, I would probably ask him. Not yet, because he just got back. So.
Okay.
Christian, the day that you found out you were now being pushed into that starting lineup and John was going to be gone for a while, can you just take us through learning that news and then obviously translating to what it meant for you and thinking what was next for you?
Really, I was already prepared for the moment. Like I tell everybody else, I prepared like a starter, before. So when they told me, I was up, I mean, I was ready for the moment because I was already prepared.
Yeah. What was the reaction for the team? Obviously it's not good news to hear, but.
Yeah, I mean, the reaction to the team was that they knew they can trust me. I played a lot of football, and like I said, you have to have great chemistry, in defense and on the offense, to be a great team. So trust is a big thing, and they had trust in me.
Speaking of chemistry, you came in with Jason Kabinda, obviously, and he seems to have a good chemistry with a lot of guys as a captain. We get to see his personality every once in a while, but what's your best Jason Kabinda story off the field?
Him and Saeed, they be making like animal noises. You can't understand what their conversation is, and like they do it all the time. So that's probably the best memorable moment, because they do it all the time, and you can't.
They do it today?
Yes.
Like on the field? Or
well, not on the field, but when we have time off, it's like you don't know what they're talking about. It's like animal noises. They have conversations. Only them two know, what they're talking about.
It's like a New Jersey thing, do you think?
I have no clue.
Are you feeling a greater anticipation on campus for what lies ahead this year amongst people out there?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit more. I mean, last year people weren't necessarily sure what you're going to get. We had a couple 6-6 seasons, kind of up and down. We were getting a new offensive coordinator, and last year it was Coach Pry's first year as a coordinator. A lot of uncertainty. Heck, no one knew who the quarterback was going to be, so there's a lot of uncertainty really coming in. Didn't know, the community and kind of students on campus didn't know what was going to happen. So I think there is a little bit more excitement after last year, kind of having that taste of success. Obviously, fans see that they want more and more, and same with us. So there's definitely a little bit more excitement this year than last year.
As you approach year 2 in Joe Moorhead's offense, do you guys look back at all and at what he did at Fordham in year 2, or looking at some of those quarterbacks or guys that he's worked with in the past?
Not necessarily. A lot of what we looked at this year is what we could do as a team ourselves to improve. A lot of that was just kind of, as you heard, this whole offseason film study and coming out, working things on the field. But not too much going back and seeing what they did second year. I mean, you can look at the statistics and I think it's been talked about a couple times, but really what we've been focused on is ourselves and what we need to do to get better. No, I think Connor's done a great job coming into this role. When he going into it in the spring, it'd been probably a year or so since he had been playing center. So he was, really kind of didn't know how the snaps were going to be, kind of getting back in the feel of things. Now, you can see even him, he's extremely confident. Being able to now be a leader on the offensive line, calling out points and wherever, setting combos for our run game and stuff like that. So he's done a tremendous job, and he's made really the whole offense as a whole run a little bit smoother, and everyone's got a ton of confidence in him, and really all those guys up front. It starts with him, but with his confidence and him being able showing everyone that he can do it and be very successful at it, it's just growing the confidence of the whole offense.
Trace, you and Jason came in together. You're now captains. I was asking Christian, over the last few years, what's your best Jason Cabinda story on or off the field?
I mean, honestly, the dude's like on go 24/7. And he's got like this own little language that he speaks on his own. I mean, I couldn't even like replicate it. But there's a couple of guys on the team that he just. There's not necessarily like one story. I remember when we came in, it was a recruiting trip, and you could already tell he was going to be the very outgoing guy. He came up, introduced himself to all the people, and we got on campus, and he already knew everybody. So he was kind of the guy to go to. You want to go hang out, and he knew what the avenue on campus. So I'd say that's probably one of the things that probably sticks out. I don't know if there's one specific thing, but he's an interesting guy for sure.
Trace, I asked this to Coach Downs a little bit. Have you ever had a chance to watch Hard Knocks at all, catch Chris Godwin? And if you have, or do you know if any of your teammates have taught him? And what's that like, being able to watch his development as an NFL player, especially his former quarterback?
I mean, we've definitely been watching it, especially being in camp. We kind of all gather in someone's room, put it on HBO, and watch it. And it's been really cool. We see it on a lot of stuff on Twitter and all the hype being around Chris, and he's extremely deserving. No one works harder than him, and it's just awesome to see. We saw him all his time here, hard work, just being very consistent. Being a strong playmaker for us here, and to see him be able to go on to the next level and continue to do that, it's not surprising to anyone, but we're all very happy for him. We wish him the best, and we've been able to see it. I saw something that he made like a one-handed catch in the end zone. Yeah, he's like making catches like that every day. The ones that we saw in practice, but being able to see him continue to do it in the NFL is very exciting.
What do you remember about the workout that you had when Ricky Arani came to see you years ago?
I mean, I remember it was just kind of, for us, it was like a morning spring practice. We were just going through our offense, kind of running regular practice. And then afterwards, kind of, because my offense coordinator in high school, he knew I wanted to play quarterback, knew coach would come to see me throw, so he kind of did like afterwards, like a little pro day almost type thing. Just kind of having me throw routes, and really it was just running the offense that we had and throwing the routes that we had there. So I mean, it wasn't necessarily anything over the top. I remember, as I was walking off the field, ran to Coach Ronnie and said, "Hey," and you just kind of looked in his face. I was happy, and he just said, "Hey, I'll give you a call later, but just be expecting the call," and talk to him later. And he had me on the phone with Coach Franklin and all that. That's kind of after they told me, "Hey, we're going to recruit you as a quarterback now." And
hey Trace, how's your birthday been?
It's been good. Went to class, came play some football. It's been a good day.
Anything special? Any cakes?
No, just regular day so far.
So this language that Cabinda speaks to himself, can you elaborate on that a little bit? Or is it like his own way of looking at things?
It's like it's so hard to like kind of
speaks that you guys don't know what they mean.
Like he'll use like one noun will be like everything. Like he gets to use it for anything. Like I can't even really explain it. You just almost have to like hear it and kind of be able to understand yourself. But if you guys get a chance to talk to him, maybe he can elaborate a little better for you.
Teresa, at media day, we got to talk to Coach Moorhead, and he went to bat for you pretty hard, despite how good your season was. He seems to think that people think the offense is watered down, and you're not making the decision is just to throw deep every time. I mean, were you surprised that he did that, or did you sense that in the meeting room that he's just sort of like feeling like you don't get your deal? I mean, did you expect that from him, especially after the year he had overall?
I mean, he kind of going into that day, he had said if he gets asked a question around those. That was something that kind of been under his skin, because I think for him it just felt like people were almost saying like his offense is just let's step back and throw it deep, and how he calls plays is like let's call it a deep shot and hope it works. And for him, how he draws up plays, he's the best coordinator I've ever been around. As far as the offensive mind, it's incredible the type of things that he draws up on a daily basis, and what he knows about the game of football, and how well he understands defenses, knows how to attack each and every coverage, pressure, front, you name it. I mean, he could sit up there on a board and just fire new ways to attack defenses at you. So I think for him, it's you almost felt from a coordinator perspective, it might have felt like a little bit of like hey, people don't really understand what we're doing. And I think it was obviously it meant a lot to me as a quarterback to have him kind of go to bat for me. It just instilled confidence in me, and I really think in our whole offense to know that if your offensive coordinator is going to go up and kind of put himself out there to defend everyone on the field, that's going to be great for the team.
Did it bother you at all during the season? Because you ended the year with I think the highest efficiency rating of any Penn State quarterback ever for a season. And that doesn't happen by mistake, just praying that someone like Chris catches it or whatever. I mean, did it get to you at all, even though you guys were winning?
Honestly, not really. I was just kind of focused on winning games. Honestly, during the year, trying to ignore everything outside of what's being said in the building. So that's kind of just how I looked at it and how I approached it.
Coach Gaddis earlier said that Juwan Johnson is having one of the best camps he's ever seen from a wide receiver. What specifically about Juwan makes him stand out? And can you recall any individual plays he's made recently that kind of stood out?
Yeah, I mean he's his combination of a couple of things. His size and his speed. It's really tough for defensive backs to handle. I mean, him being, how was he, around like 6'4", 6'5", 220, 230, somewhere around there. Being able to run a 4.4 and his vertical, his length. It's a problem for defensive backs, and how he's been able to come in, his work ethic this summer, and really throughout this whole offseason. You heard all the hype about him in the spring. He's greatly improved his technique and his route running. And kind of his savviness throughout his routes. That's something he kind of picked up from Chris, and when Chris would come back and do his workouts, he'd go out with Chris and learn from him. So I think just kind of overall, all the things that he brings to the table as a player for this offense has been something that has been really a tremendous asset for us. I mean, I remember instance you want to talk about, we were throwing red zone one-on-ones, and we just had him run a fade. And I mean, I forget who was covering, but they covered it up pretty well. Kind of put it high and outside, and I mean he just went up one hand, had it, pulled it away from the defender, it came down in bounds, and it was something that made everyone on the field just kind of stop and go, whoa. So I mean the type of special talent he is, combination of his size, speed, athleticism, and just kind of natural ability is something that we're really looking forward to seeing this year.